All right. Hi. I think this is working. So, my name is Vera. I'm here to give you a little theory lesson. I have my music teacher shirt on, same as a normal teacher, just much cooler. Let's get to it. Okay. So, I'm thinking hopefully you can hear me and see our theory sheet. Right at the beginning, this is basic theory 1, so we're going to go at the most um, basic sort of thing that's happening. It says, in order to understand music in its written form, the first step is to recognize the basic staff, a group of 5 equally spaced horizontal lines upon which music is written. So when we see music, let's see if I can do that a little more light. There we go. We see these 5 lines that it's written on. Okay. At the beginning of every staff is a symbol that helps us identify musical notes and pitches. This symbol is called a clef. One of the most common clefs is the treble clef, also known as the G clef. When we draw it, it looks like this. J, J, come around to the top line. J, line 4, line 1. J, line 4, line 1, line 3. J, line 4, 1, 3, 2. Right? And that's how we draw our treble clef. And it circles around this second line, which is G, and that's why we call it the G clef. Another common clef is known as the bass clef or the F clef. And it looks like this. Fishhook, fishhook, 2 dots. Fishhook, 2 dots. And the 2 dots are around this 4th line, which is F, which is why we call it the F clef. Each written note has a letter name, and once you know the letter names of the notes, you will be able to read music. It is easy to remember the music alphabet because it is the first 7 letters of our regular alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Each line and space on a staff is assigned a specific letter from the musical alphabet. The clef determines the placement of each letter. The treble clef tells us where G is on the staff, and once G is identified, it is simple to name the rest of the lines and spaces. Simply alternate line, space, line, and repeat the sequence when you run out of letters, A through G. So if I draw my treble clef, J, 4, 1, 3, 2. It's telling me that I know this line is G. If my pattern goes from A to G, then I'm going to alternate repeating back at A every space line, space line. So it'll be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Or I go backwards, F, E, D, C. Now this C right here is important. It has a line through the middle, and that's actually where the bass clef and the treble clef meet in the grand staff, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Mnemonic devices, here we go, are a great way to remember the order of letters for the lines and spaces. For the treble clef, bottom to top, the letters are E, G, B, D, F. A common phrase is every good boy does fine. And for the treble clef, bottom to top, the space letters are F, A, C, E, and a common phrase is spaces in the space. So if I draw my treble clef, that's pretty messy. I know that this is G, so it's telling me this, the lines are every good boy does fine. And that's how I remember the order of the letters on the lines. In the spaces, Face is in the space. For treble clef, right? For treble clef. So using that, I'm going to give you a couple of notes to identify. Okay, so see if you can identify the letters of the notes that are written and where those other notes go. You can push pause and figure it out. We're going to go ahead. So I know it's on this second line, right? We label from bottom to top. Okay, second line, I know that's G. It's a space, faces in the space, F-A-C-E. F, faces in the space. D, every good boy does. So it's fourth line. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, faces in the space, F-A-C. A, faces in the space, F-A. All right. The bass clef tells us where F is on the staff, and once F is identified, it's simple to name the rest of the lines and spaces. Just like the treble clef, simply alternate line, space, line, and repeat the sequence once you run out of letters. So when I draw my bass clef, fishhook, 2 dots, I know that this is F. Oops. So then I keep going, G, and then I start over, A, and then I would keep going, B. If I go backwards, E, D, C, B, A, and G is actually on the bottom line. That's why it's important to always note the clef, because the bottom line of treble is E, but the bottom line of the bass clef is G. 2 differences. For the bass clef bottom to top, the line letters are G, B, D, F, A. A common phrase used is great big diamond from Africa. There are plenty of other ones. For the bass clef bottom to top, the space letters are A, C, E, G. Common phrase is all cows eat grass. So if I do my fish hook, 2 dots, great big diamond from Africa, all cows eat grass. All right, let's practice. Fish hook. All right. So I know my 2 dots in the F clef or bass clef go around F, so I know that this is F. That's a line, so great big. That's a space. All cows eat grass. All cows eat. If I want to draw a D, I know that's in great big diamond. Great big diamond. All cows. All cows. Now I actually have 2 options for the A, right? I have all of all cows, or I have great big diamond from Africa. I actually have 2 options. Okay. Now down here you can see this all comes from 1 Minute Theory, book 1. I would highly suggest grabbing this book online. It's maybe like $7 or $8. This book right here is where I'm getting all of this information from. It's a great practice book. It also has something really cool in there, which we talk about in the Greater Richmond course a lot, which is the mental game. It has quotes for kind of these daily exercises, and then asks you kind of write down which ones you really like. And I think that's important a lot of times to, make sure that we're always staying inspired as musicians. All right, now it's quiz time. These 5 lines where notes are written, these 5 lines are called, I guess it should be R, are called a staff. Very good. Draw a treble clef and a bass clef on this staff and identify the letter line that each clef is named after. J, 4, 1, 3, 2. Those are the lines, right? That's line 4, line 1, line 3, line 2. G clef. My bass is my fishhook, 2 dots, F. Draw a treble clef and these notes, then identify the notes at the end. So let's draw my treble clef. 4, 1, 3, 2. Let's draw a G, E, and A. G, E, A. I know my G is right here. E, I have 2 options. Every good boy does fine, and faces in the space. 2 options. A, let's do faces in the space, F-A. Identify these notes. Every good boy does. Every good boy. Every good boy does fine. Faces in the space. All right. Draw a bass clef and these notes, and then identify the notes at the end. Fishhook, 2 dots. Let's do the same ones. G, E, and A. All right. All cows eat grass. All cows eat grass. All cows eat. What about this one? Go back. Great big diamond. There's 2 options. All cows eat grass. Great big diamond from Africa. 2 options for A in the bass clef as well. See if you can identify these. All cows. Great big diamond from, plus, that's in between my 2 dots, so I know that's F. This one is below. Great, I know that this is G, so what comes before that? F. Great big diamond. Awesome job.